Today we'll be going over the rider level 4 requirements in order to be able to pass your level 4 test. On course, what can happen if your horse doesn't land the lead, you have to either do a simple change or a flying change if the horse is trained to do that. So here Brooklyn is just demonstrating how to do a simple change through the trot. So you canter and then go back to the trot for a few steps, and then you just regain your canter on the new lead. And then you can see here now Brooklyn is going from the left lead to the right lead, doing another simple change. Here we have our rider now riding a level 4 course. So now the difference is she's now cantering the approaches to all the jumps. And now we also have the introduction of related distances. So that means having more than one jump in a line with a certain number of strides between. So this line has 3 strides in between. Another concept is now having to think about doing either simple or flying changes. And you can see here in this course, Baloo tends to land all her leads off the jump. Here I'm going to have Brooklyn and Anderson demonstrate the gymnastic portion of the rider level 4. Okay. Here we have Brooklyn demonstrating the level 4 gymnastics. So at this stage, she's still working on a main release, but she's doing it closer to the base of the fences. Okay, so here we have Anderson going through our gymnastic line. He's demonstrating his control of his release by having it closer to the base of the fences, so that he's working on just having the follow over the fence and regaining contact at the landing side of them. This time Brooklyn will be demonstrating a medium crest release instead of the main release going over the gymnastic line. Okay, so here we have Anderson doing the same thing, demonstrating the medium crest release over both fences. And notice how Anderson's working on his straightness, going up the center line of the ring. Your level 4 test, you're asked to do a couple different things. And one thing is starting to work on doing things more in a seated position. So for example, you're required to be able to do more work in a sitting trot and also a full seat in the canter. So there's a few different positions that a rider can have in the canter. Here I'm in a full seat, so it's a seated position where I have contact with my seat and both legs in the saddle. And here would be a half seat where I have just contact with both legs and not my seat. Another thing that you'll have to do for your level 4 is to drop your stirrups while in the trot and then be able to regain them. Another thing that you're evaluated on is being able to ride your trot without stirrups. So you need to be able to do a sitting trot and also a rising trot without your stirrups. So here I will be trotting a 15-meter circle. rider level 4, you are now able to start identifying different issues with your horse and being able to correct them. So here I'm going to demonstrate a few different issues and my way of being able to solve them. So here you can see my horse has picked up the wrong lead, so I'm going to do a simple change to correct it. So there are also different issues with riders not managing their pace correctly. So here you can see Willow is under tracking and going just way too under pace. So now I'm going to allow her to go forward and open up her trot so that she is now tracking up. Here you can see Willow is going way too fast in the trot and she's rushing. So now I'm going to use my posting to slow down the pace to make a more even, more relaxed feeling trot. I'm going to have my horse halt, but you can see it's taking her too many steps to halt and she's not staying straight. So I'm going to walk her forward and I'm going to correct that and ask for a more square halt.
Here we are demonstrating how to jog a horse in hand. Jogging your horse can help you assess for lamenesses and to assess a horse's soundness.
After that, I'm going to talk about is a stable wrap. So a stable wrap can be used if the horse has an injury to its leg. So for example, if it has any swelling on the tendon, you can apply a stable wrap to help give it pressure to help reduce any swelling. It's also great to cover a leg if it has anything wrong with it, or if a horse has had any sort of like surgery done to the leg and it needs to be covered and supported, then you can use a stable wrap. After harder work, it's great to wrap your horse's legs, so especially after like a hard jump school. You'll see us do this a lot at the horse shows. Any of the horses that are in the harder work, jumping the bigger classes, we tend to wrap them after the class. This just helps to give the tendon a little bit more support after hard work, helps to tighten the tendons, so it's just going to prevent any sort of injury from happening. Same idea as the polo wrap. So you're going to take your stable wrap, you're going to take the cotton, wrap it around, making the tendon be pulled inward, not outward. And with a cotton, it's very important that you do it really tight because it's a lot bulkier than a polo wrap would be. So it's very important that you have quite a bit of tension. So what I like to do is I like to take the top, like actual bandage here, and I like to kind of tuck it into the first part, like the top part of the cotton, and then I take it and then I start to wrap it around. So very important that you get this quite snug, especially if you have newer wraps. That way you're not having a big bulky loose wrap and you're not risking it sliding down at all. So same idea, really even tension and even spacing. Your spaces will be a little bit wider sometimes with doing a stable wrap just because the cotton is quite thick underneath. And you can see how I'm trying to pull the stable wrap kind of a little tighter as I go across the cannon bone. This just helps to make it nice and tight and as secure as possible. So the idea is to leave a little bit of the cotton at the bottom and at the top